just happened? Excuse me. Are we on? We are on. Proverbs 7. My son, keep my words and treasure my commands within you. Let that word abide. Keep my commands and live, and my laws as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding your nearest kin. We get that with Job 14. I couldn't let that one slip. Number 5, that they may keep you, talking about wisdom and understanding, that they may keep you from the immoral woman, that would be the harlot, from the seductress who flatters with her words. I'm not talking about a woman. For at the window of my house I looked through my lattice and saw among the simple, I perceived among the youths, a young man devoid of understanding, passing along the street near her corner. Once again, talking about a harlot here, so you're thinking of a prostitute or something like that, which is actually what it is. But you could turn this into a whole lot of things. I believe what they're talking about here is the corrupt church. Let's see. A young man devoid of understanding, passing along the street near her corner. And he took the path to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And there a woman met him with the attire of a harlot and a crafty heart. She was loud and rebellious. Her feet would not stay at home. At times she was outside, at times in the open square, lurking at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him. With an impudent face she said to him, I have peace offerings with me. Today I have paid my vow, so I came out to meet you diligently to seek your face, and I have found you. I have spread my bed with tapestry, colored coverings of Egyptian linen. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until morning. Let us delight ourselves with love. For my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He has taken a bag of money with him and will come home on the appointed day. Key there being the appointed day. Who might her husband be? To return. With her enticing speech, words, she caused him to yield. With her flattering lips, she seduced him. Immediately he went after her as an ox goes to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till an arrow struck his liver. As a bird hastens to the snare, he did not know it would cost his life. Now therefore listen to me, my children. Pay attention to the words of my mouth. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not stray into her paths, for she has cast down many wounded, and all who were slain by her were strong men. Her house is the way to hell, descending to the chambers of death. That is Proverbs 7. Like I said, when they talk about the harlot and all that, I typically be talking about the state of the church today. But you could also take that, the same thing as what is going on in the world. Some people want to go into Mystery Babylon and all that kind of stuff. There is a movement about, and it has gone on since Jesus left, ascended. And it's the world we're living in today. So even though, let's say you may not be a believer, a churchgoer, following the Gospels or any of that, not spiritual at all, this system of things that we are in, that's this evil system, it's all part of that bigger picture, okay? So I don't like to tie in world affairs and what's the other word? Social, the cultural, what do you call it? The cultural civil war we're going through now and all this kind of stuff. I don't like to tie that in spiritually, but it is all it all comes from the same thing. The book is typically talking about the state of the church when Jesus returns, okay? And we're right on track. But the same thing going on in the world, there still is how would you call it? It's not just It's not just a system that is affecting the church. The same thing that has the church off in a ditch also has everyone else that's outside the church off in a ditch. Okay, far from the truth. So it encompasses everything. It's the way people behave and the way the way we are and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I typically say, oh, this is always about the church. But the same thing that has affected the church, meaning the anyone that believes they're a Christian and they're just that, a Christian. Okay, there's proclaimed Christians. With so many different, we know that there's so many different denominations that someone's got to be wrong. Something's got to be run amok here. So, and it's had its effect on the church, but it also has its effect on the world and the things that are going on in the world. I will tie one thing in culturally that I think has a big effect on the I'll call it last days, or an issue that has a major effect on the church is the homosexuality. Okay. And as far as homosexuality in the world isn't going to affect me so much as a believer, as long as I'm staying on the path, staying in my lane, following the teachings of Jesus, waiting for, depending on the indwelling of the Holy Spirit, the leading and all this sort of thing. As long as I'm not becoming homosexual, I pray for those people, but as long as I stay in my lane, I'm good. Okay. So, but at the same time, where homosexuality can affect me is there is going to come a time when the pop culture, or the culture that the world is in, the state of mind is, and they've been trying, you can see it now more than ever, is where we have to not only accept homosexuality, we also have to embrace it. And this is everyone says, oh, I got no problem with homosexuality. And most people don't. I get that. I'm in California, man. It's all gay here. I've been very accepting of homosexual people, this and that, since the 90s. Okay, we got people think, oh, they're being oppressed. They're being oppressed out here in California. We don't touch that. Okay, I'm off on a tangent. If I mind my P's and Q's, homosexuality is not going to affect my salvation personally. But the effect in the homosexuality in the world, the way that we are forced to or trained to accept it, embrace it, okay, will have a major effect on Christianity. Because what's happening now is there's so many, especially this new generation coming up, they've bought everything hook, line, and sinker. I mean, the stock of Kool-Aid has gone way up with these people, poor kids. It's going to come down. They're already starting. They've been doing this since Obama got elected, but it's become worse and worse. The churches will have to change doctrine. They can't just say, well, we'll marry them, or well, we'll allow them to come here, but they don't talk about being gay or whatever, this and that. They're going to get the churches, probably the Catholic Church, I hate to say it because it's the biggest in my opinion, and they've got the Pope that probably do it, will change doctrine saying that homosexuality is no longer a sin. Okay? You can stay homosexual and the church is going to be cool with it. That's, in my opinion, is going to be, you'll hear trumpets. That's not going to fly. Okay, even though whether you believe it's Catholicism or another church, whatever the case is, anyone in the guise of Christianity in a large enough group that goes about and says, okay, we're no longer going to consider homosexuality a sin. Okay, now there are many people that may not be knowing that, well, how can you blame these people for a sin, the sin of homosexuality, when they were born like this? They can't help it. They were born. It's in their DNA or genetics, or they're born. It's like that. I was born a liar and a deceiver. I'm good at it. Okay, ask any girlfriend. I don't have girlfriends now, but you go back in the day, any girlfriend I ever had. I mean, I was good at it. Okay, nothing to be proud of. Okay, I even think I was so talented at lying and deceiving that I would think I was born with a gift. Okay, it wanted me to lie to him. I was just good at it. With that in mind, if I'm going to walk out the steps of Jesus, if I'm looking for the conversion, if I'm looking to be, transformed from selfish to selfless, I can no longer be a liar or deceiver. It may be in me. It may be an instinctive thing that I have. I'm good at it. I'm good. Okay? I can't do that anymore. Not if I'm going to take part in this transformation, becoming more like Jesus, becoming selfless. Same thing if I was born homosexual. Hey, okay, if you're born homosexual, I got this. I had these desires, blah, blah, this, that, and the other thing. You don't get to stay that way. You know, people all say, oh, well, I thought your Jesus loves everyone and everyone's welcome. Yeah, everyone's welcome to take up their cross and walk out the steps, but you don't get to stay who you are. Okay, if you were born a liar, if you were born a homosexual, whatever the case is, that's all fine and good. You don't get to stay, you don't get to keep that. You have to put that behind you. See? But what's going to happen, that being said, not this is about homosexuality, but there's going to come a time when they're going to force, one of the big churches is going to say, yeah, we need to open the door. This is antiquated, a poor way of thinking, blah, blah, blah. Because very little of Christianity anymore is about transformation. Accept Jesus, you're saved, you're good, go back to whatever you do before. There's very little transformation going on. You meet very few people that are actually born again. I hate to say that. And people will disagree, that's fine. But since none of that really matters anymore, since you really don't have to have John 14 going on, following his commands and get this, whatever that is, you know, you ought to be able to be allowed to stay in your homosexuality or stay in your sin. Or I get to keep on being a liar. See? We'll get to do that. But because that's the state of the way things are, they're going to open the door to homosexuality. A lot of people say, yeah, you know, whatever, that's fine. They can't help it that they're gay. Well, they want to have Jesus too. They want to have salvation too, but they want to have it their way. See? And I think that's going to be a big deal. So I got way off on a rabbit hole here. When they talk about the harlot and all this kind of things, Mystery Babylon or whatever the case is, I always say that the Bible, especially the Old Testament prophecy, is talking about the state of the church in the end. When Jesus returns, he finds that the churches are a mess. And so, but at the same time, that same mess, that same thing that messed up all the churches has also messed up the world. Okay, hopefully I'm making that clear. I know I'm all over the board here. Anyhow, avoid the harlot. Love you, God bless.